What if I told you that an entire ancient Egyptian city lay hidden beneath the sand for more than 3,000 years? This isn't a myth. It's not a legend. It's a real city, discovered completely by accident. And when archaeologists finally uncovered it, they realized something was very, very wrong. For centuries, we believed that the greatest secrets of ancient Egypt had already been found. The Great Pyramids, the magnificent tombs in the Valley of the Kings, the sprawling temples of Karnak and Luxor. It felt like everything important, everything monumental, was known to us, belonging to a distant, well-documented past. But history was hiding something else, something silent, something buried, perhaps on purpose. And it stayed that way until very recently. The story begins in 2020. A team of archaeologists, led by the famous Zahi Hawass, began an excavation near Luxor. They weren't searching for a city. Their goal was to find a mortuary temple, a common find in this historically rich area. But as they started to dig, something unexpected began to emerge from the earth. Not the foundations of a temple, but zigzagging mud brick walls. Then more walls. Soon, they weren't just uncovering walls, but entire streets. Then buildings. Room after room appeared from beneath the sand that had protected it for millennia. What they had stumbled upon was not a temple, but an entire ancient Egyptian city, lost and forgotten for over 3,000 years. And it was perfectly preserved. They named it the Rise of Aten, though it's often called the Lost Golden City. This discovery was hailed as the most important find since the tomb of Tutankhamun. Why? Because this wasn't a collection of ruins or a single tomb. This was a living snapshot of ancient life. The archaeologists found homes with rooms still completely intact, their walls standing several feet high. They uncovered a bakery, complete with ovens and pottery still filled with the ingredients used to make bread for the city's inhabitants. They found workshops where artisans crafted jewelry, amulets, and tools. They even found everyday objects, just sitting where their owners had left them thousands of years ago. It was an eerie, breathtaking sight. It looked as if the people who lived here, who worked and ate and slept in these very rooms, had simply vanished into thin air. Now, most ancient cities we find are destroyed. They fall in wars, burn in great fires, or are simply worn down by the relentless passage of time. But this city, Aten, was different. There were no signs of a battle, no layers of ash indicating a fire, no evidence of an earthquake or a flood. The city was pristine, frozen in time under the Egyptian sun. This incredible state of preservation raised a terrifying question. Why would an entire population get up and leave everything behind? Why abandon a thriving, prosperous city, leaving their homes, their jobs, and even their personal possessions behind? This city was built during the reign of one of Egypt's most powerful pharaohs, Amenhotep III, the grandfather of Tutankhamun. It was a major administrative and industrial center during a golden age of the empire. People here weren't poor. They were part of a bustling economy. So, what could possibly make them leave? One of the leading theories points to Amenhotep's son, the controversial pharaoh Akhenaten. Akhenaten famously abandoned the traditional Egyptian pantheon of gods to worship a single deity, the sun disk, Aten. He moved the capital from Thebes to a brand new city he built, called Amarna. So, some historians believe the residents of the lost Golden City were simply commanded by their pharaoh to move. It was a massive political and religious upheaval, an order from a god-king that could not be questioned. This explanation seems plausible, but it doesn't fully explain what was found at the site. When you're ordered to move, you pack. You take your valuables, your tools, your sentimental items. You don't just walk out the door and leave everything as it is. But that's exactly what archaeologists found. Inside the houses, they discovered personal belongings still in place. Tools were left on workbenches. Vessels for food and drink were left untouched, some still containing traces of their last meal. A human burial was even found with his arms outstretched to his side and a rope wrapped around his knees. The whole scene feels abrupt. People don't leave like this. Not calmly, not willingly. It suggests they left in a hurry, forced out by something they couldn't control. And whatever that event was, it never made it into the history books. That's the deepest part of this mystery. There are no ancient texts that describe the abandonment of this city. No inscriptions on temple walls that explain its sudden disappearance. It's as if it was deliberately erased from the historical record, wiped clean, hidden beneath layers of sand, and forgotten by time. Or perhaps forgotten on purpose. After Akhenaten's death, Egypt furiously rejected his religious revolution. His name was chiseled off monuments, his new capital was abandoned, and the old gods were restored. Was this city, so closely linked to that era, also condemned to be forgotten? A place so tied to a heretical pharaoh that it had to be buried and never spoken of again. As the excavations continue, new questions arise with every discovery. They found skeletons, but no evidence of a plague or massacre. They found wealth, but no signs of looting. The city is a paradox, a perfectly preserved moment in time with no clear explanation for why time stopped. Maybe the lost golden city was simply abandoned and the relentless desert winds buried it by chance over the centuries. A natural phenomenon that created an archaeological miracle. Or maybe it was sealed away. A deliberate act to hide a chapter of history that some found too dangerous or too shameful to remember. Some discoveries are not meant to be remembered. And as we dig deeper into the sands of Egypt, we have to wonder, what other secrets are still out there, waiting, and are some of them too dangerous to uncover? Thank you for joining me on this journey into one of history's most fascinating new mysteries. If you love exploring the unexplained and the forgotten corners of our past, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think happened to the people of this lost city. See you next time.